Everyone, to the biggest problem hoop teachers face. You will see over on the side, if you're here live, that there is a chat box that you can use to chime in at any time or ask any questions. I'm going to type hi in there now, and then I am going to come online and say hello. Welcome to the biggest problem that hoop teachers face. As a hoop teacher, it's hard to pick just one problem, but the cool flip side is that there are so many amazing, awesome benefits and beautiful reasons to share hooping. So welcome everyone who has decided to jump in here today. This was an interesting topic to choose because I like to keep it high vibes and really positive, because that's what hooping is mostly about. But we can't deny that there are some hurdles that we have to jump over, some hoops that we have to jump through, if you will, as a hoop teacher. And I have been not just a hoop teacher, but also a primary school teacher for decades now. So I have been studying the art of facilitation and also studying the art of student behavior, and working with thousands of hoop teachers and tens of thousands of hoopers. I have learned some ups and downs of being a hoop teacher. So I'm really, really happy to share them or this with you. And also I'm going to run through just a few bits and pieces about, I'd like to hear from you mostly. I love to keep these interactive, so I'd love to hear from you. And then I'm also going to go through what I think is like one of the biggest hurdles that we all face, whether you have just started with the idea of hoop teaching, or if you've been teaching for a while, or if you're not sure, if you're kind of sitting on the fence. And then after that, I would like to open up to anyone who has questions about Hoop Love Coach training, because we start next week. You're not too late if it's something that you're thinking of. If you're kind of just sitting on, you're not quite sure, you might have some questions, and I'd be so happy to help you out. Can everyone hear me and see the slides? If you can't at any time, or if for any reason the internet decides to shut down, thanks, Amber says yes, then I will send you the recording. If you need to go to sleep, I know world clock people are on different times. It is 2 p.m. here, Brisbane time, Australia. So welcome. If at any time you have questions or something that you need to say, you can put it in the chat box. If I miss it, I can come back to it, or you can rewrite it again. So let's get started. If you don't know who I am, if we haven't met before, then my name is Deanne Love, and I am the creator of hooplovers.tv, and also a YouTube channel that has lots and lots of hoop tutorials. I've been doing that weekly for years and years because I absolutely love it. So I'm teaching a lot online, and I have taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hoop classes and workshops and parties and gatherings for schools and corporate events and private gatherings. So I've had a lot of different experience, and it's been a joy, but I've learned a whole bunch of stuff. So that is why I created Hoop Love Coach Training as well, because I was getting questions like, how do I teach hooping? And that is not something that you can just answer in a little message in an inbox on Instagram or something. So I took all of the goodness and all of the learning that I had received, not just as a hoop teacher, but also as a formally trained teacher, and I put it into this training for you. So, but even if you're not interested in Hoop Love Coach training, you're going to find something special in today's workshop. So thank you for joining me. I may or may not turn my video off. We'll see. If it interferes with anything, then totally let me know. So I always like to ask hoop teachers or hoopers or someone who's considering sharing hooping why they would want to teach hooping. It's really important to always be able to come back to your why, because that's going to be like your solid base. It's going to keep you grounded when you're wondering, what kind of path to take. I personally have always taught hooping, and you could be thinking about your why now, because it's fun-loving and energetic. It brings pleasure to me and to others. And I firmly believe that this pleasure style of fitness or movement, or even just being able to tap into pleasure, which is ultimately flow and something that is enjoyable and something that provides satisfaction, that is not only one of the greatest forms of self-love and expression, but it's also highly healing. I've noted that in myself and then in thousands, tens of thousands of others. So I have tens of thousands of students that I work with on hooplovers.tv, and this is the response that I keep getting. It's energizing. It's fun-loving. It changes lives. And I get so many messages every single day, messages of gratitude, and some really, really big, intense, quite heavy, dark messages from women and men all over the world who have encountered hooping one way or another, and how it has gone on to shift their physical, their emotional, their mental states, and cause huge shifts in their life. So I know that it does change lives. It definitely changed mine, and it potentially, I have a feeling that it has changed yours. If you're here hanging out talking about hoop teaching, it's probably likely that hooping has changed your life. For me personally, and for so many other hoop teachers that I've worked with, hooping or teaching hooping is about abundance. And I think of that in two ways: connections that we make with people, that we make with places, and then finances or energetics, or however you want to talk about it, money abundance. So for me, I've been able to open up to the flow of both of those channels really beautifully, and I love to support other people to do that as well, because in this life, it's the give and take of energy, and it's beautiful to be rewarded for all of the love and the joy and the energy that you put out into the world. So yeah, Andrea says exercise should be fun. Yes, and movement is our medicine. It truly is. And everyone chooses different pathways with their exercise, and a lot of us, I watch so many, I'm one of them, who go through finding different ways to move our body that make it feel good. and hooping is definitely one of those. I also, for me, hooping has brought so many opportunities that I would never, ever, I can't even imagine if I had have chosen another path. And I have been hooping since 2007. And I pretty much decided, and this is a huge question that I get all the time, that I'll get emails saying, I've just started hooping, can I teach? I knew almost as soon as I started hooping that I wanted to share it, because I knew that it was changing me and that it was giving me this life force that I was really, really craving, and it was making all of these positive changes in my life and others around me. So I just knew that I wanted to share it. Okay. So what about you? Having a little think. I'm going to ask some questions. I want to put some questions out there to you, because I really like to just provoke some thought around why it is, or what it is that you really have to offer. And if you're thinking, I don't know, I have to, trust me, you've got so much. You have so much to offer. So having a little think about your why and what it is that you want to share. Just really quickly, we only have a few people who've jumped on live, because the rest of you are probably sleeping. Where are you from? Just give me a little heads up of what part of the world you are in. I'm in Australia. We have a lot of hoopers here, but it seems like the hoop community in the US and Europe is growing really, really quickly, which is epic. Yes, some people from the US. From the US as well, in Hawaii. Cool. Money says that her feed is frozen. The internet. Oh, she's back. Los Angeles. Yes. Ohio. Epic. Wonderful. Canada. Yay. Cool. Australia. Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay, so let's get into this. Welcome, everyone. welcome. And welcome to those Oregon. Hey, I want to come out and hang out in North America next year. So hopefully I'll get a chance to hang out with all of you. Thank you. So the biggest problem that hoop teachers face, and also you can ask me questions about Hoop Love coaching if you're interested, or teaching in general. So I want to know about you, because I get a feeling that you probably know some of my story. If you want to know any more, I'm totally an open book, but you can either write this in the chat box, or you can just think this out, or write it in your journal, because this is ultimately for you. So you don't have to share this right now, but how did you start hooping? So just getting a really good sense of who you are, where you've come from, what your hooping heritage is, or prior to that as well. What is your story? And knowing your story as a teacher is going to help you to cultivate your teaching philosophy. And you might be like, what has this got to do with hooping? Well, I'll get to that a little bit later, but hooping and teaching are two very different skill sets. And this is why I do the Hoop Love Coach training, because we're marrying those skill sets. How to hoop, how to understand how to break it all down, and then how to deliver that with your own special sauce. That is the art of facilitation. And that's what I'm really trying to support any hooper that wants to move into the area of teaching to do, because there's a bridge. It's not just if I can hoop, I can teach. They're two very beautiful skill sets that you're constantly developing. So how did you start hooping? Remembering back, how has it helped you? This is a big one. Again, if you want to share any of your answers, if you're feeling like that flow is coming out and you want to share that in the chat box, feel free. Otherwise, I would highly recommend you write this down, either in your journal or on a phone app. I use Simple Note, and or you can just be thinking about this, just letting this flow through your body. Why are you passionate about sharing hoop love or hooping? So those questions are really making up your story. And I bump into a lot of new teachers who are so focused, and this is a beautiful thing. I love the passion. I love the dedication. They're so focused on like tricks and how I don't have enough tricks, and I don't know if and even before we get to that, in Hoop Love Coach training, before we even pick up a hula hoop, this is the kind of stuff that I really want to know, that you're going to need to know and connect with, so that you can share more deeply and more openly with your students. And it's not just about teaching rad tricks, which of course you will. It's more about connecting on a deeper level with your students and understanding who you are. So knowing your story, because your story is going to help others. I'm sure if you've bumped into other hoopers, or you've seen me online, or you've seen other beautiful hoop performers or friends or community, we share story, and we share story because it helps us to relate to each other. And your story might be one of healing. Your story might be one of weight loss. Your story might be one of joy. Your story might be one of overcoming darkness in your life or trauma. So opening up to connecting to that story. This is all going somewhere, so it's not a test. You can keep your answers close to you, but just keep this in mind. Andrea says that I bought hoops about 9 years ago and I didn't get it. Couldn't really waist hoop. I picked up my hoop again about 2 months ago. Hoop size really matters. Yes, it does. And knowing that about your journey as well, knowing that, like, the first time I ever picked up a hoop, I had a tiny little kids one, and I thought that I couldn't hoop. And if I hadn't have heard a story from another hoop teacher online at that time that I needed a bigger hoop, maybe I would never have hooped again. That would have been such a shame. So that part of your story is really essential. I'm now age 55, and I feel if I can get it, so can other middle-aged and older people. Andrea, please, I am begging you to share. This is a whole other topic. Maybe I should do an online workshop on this, but how the body needs to have continuous movement. And if the body changes. I am now 42, and I can absolutely 100% say that my body is so much different and enjoys so many different types of movement than it did when I was 30 and picked up a hoop. And I have friends or students who come to my class who are 19 and 20, and their body is different. So understanding that too about your people, about your community, about your students will help you to develop workshops or classes or gatherings in your backyard that are going to support them. And really, and I go into this so much in the training, really it's about connection and observation, just watching and sharing and listening and giving feedback and giving support. because you don't have to know, you won't know everything. I've just spent a week with a wonderful teacher that I used to teach with, and she's a primary school teacher, but she's also a hooper, and she is one of the lead teachers at this incredible school in Victoria. And so we've spent the week talking about teaching and our experience, and she's been teaching full-time for 12 years now, and we don't always get it right. There's things that we still don't know, that we're still learning, and having that thirst for learning is going to help you to continuously, as Andrea says, get it. So you're going to keep moving forward. Okay, this is a beautiful one. I want you to think about this. What is your flavor? Who are you? Like, if a friend described you in 3 words, and I know that's a very short way to describe you, what kind of words might come up? Are you colorful and energetic? Are you relaxed and calm? Are you direct and open? What is it? And I can tell you, I know that it can be really, really challenging to see yourself. So I think I can give you this little secret, but when we go through the Hoop Love Coach training, I always ask all of the new Hoop teachers to connect with their community and to connect with their friends and ask, because something that I've learned along the way is that we will never truly see ourselves the way that others see us. And that's not about their judgments, but it's about their insight and their perceptions of us, and the way that our students will see us. Money says fun, open, and energetic. Beautiful. Now, I can also say that you don't have to be this like high level, high skilled hooper with tons and tons of energy to be a hoop teacher. And when I look out, there's almost 1,000 Hoop Love coaches now. When I look across the world, across the whole entire planet, where there's so many different hoop teachers, not one of them are the same. We may be teaching similar tricks, or we may be teaching similar flow sessions, but we always bring our own flavor. Amber says open, joyful, and inspiring. Andrea says genuine, lively, and flexible. Beautiful. And all of these qualities, every single one of them, are the qualities of an incredible teacher, of an incredible human that wants to share, that is passionate, and those qualities go a really, really long way. So just thinking about what your flavor is. I always think that just this saying always kind of comes up, because oftentimes we will compare ourselves. So we'll be like, oh, I wish that I could, or wow, look at that hooper, or this teacher, has so many classes running, or it's just it's a part of our brain to see something else, and then we just make a comparison or a judgment. But I always think what's written here, it's impossible, heartbreaking, and soul crushing, trying to be something or someone that you are not. So it's beautiful to have mentors. I've had many incredible mentors and coaches over the years. We can never do things alone. Some of us try to and then realize that we're doing it the hard way. But when we try to, I'm sure we've all experienced this, when we're trying to be something that we're not, we realize that it's very exhausting. It's really heartbreaking. It's challenging. So coming back to, what is my story? What is my flavor? Who am I, and what is it that I have to share? And this is a really, really important part of the foundations of becoming someone who is inspiring others, a leader in your community, a teacher. So what do you want to offer? You might not know the answers to this, but if you're a teacher, or maybe you are already offering something, so just having a little think, and I like to kind of body storm and brainstorm and just visualize and daydream. What is it that you want to offer? Do you see yourself teaching hoop classes? Can you visualize where you might be teaching them? Even if that's not real, even if you're like, that is a distant dream, wait up, I'm way back here, I'm just starting out here. It's okay. It's fine to vision. It's fine to dream. In fact, I would highly recommend it. And I work really closely with the hoop teachers to create their vision, create a vision, because after that comes the action of putting that in place. Do you want to share hoop parties? Are they going to be like an ongoing kind of monthly gathering that really suits your community? Or are you going to be going off and doing little kids parties or some things at schools? We're just brainstorming here. What is it that you think that you might want to offer? And you don't have to pick one thing. Trust me, I have tested the waters of sharing hooping in so many different ways. perhaps workshops, perhaps you have a specialty that you really like to share, or maybe you see a need, maybe in aged care in your community where a workshop style might work, where you go in, say once a month or perhaps every second week, and you're offering. I have a Hoop Love coach who developed a really incredible curriculum for, because she saw a need in her community, and also because she broke her, no, she had knee surgery or she broke her knee. I should know this. Angela, I'm sorry. Oops. Something really bad happened to her leg and she was on crutches when she was doing the Hoop Love coach training. This was many years ago. And she was like, well, if I tell myself that I can't do this because I have to sit down, then I'm going to be really stressed out and I'm going to be, heading into a dark place. So what if I take my limitations and I turn them into an opportunity? And she crafted a seated hooping class. Now that seated hooping class was originally for her because she was injured, but what that led to was her matching up her specialty workshops with aged care or much older hoopers in her area who could not dance around the classroom and do all these incredible tricks. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be offered this incredible beneficial way of movement that is hooping. So she took what she had created for herself and she started to share it with people in her community who were in need. Andrew says, I would like to lead classes in adult teen parties, workshops, retreats, and at senior centers. Beautiful. And the thing is that when we start to look into the areas that are untapped in our community or our local area, you're going to start to find so many. Because I can tell you, so I have been hoop teaching for over a decade, and the opportunities are growing and opening as the hoop community and as hooping just becomes more and more well known. There are more opportunities. Having said that, we're not like yoga yet. When there's not a yoga school on it depends on where you live, but where I live, there's a lot of yoga, and where I've always lived, there's always been lots of. So we're not that yet, which means that there's so many areas that are untapped. There's so many places that you could be sharing hooping. Amber says community workshops, one-on-one. Yeah, it's really powerful. I actually really love teaching one-on-one because, as you can imagine, if you have a class of 10 or 20 or 100 people versus just this really connected vibe where you can observe and you can give feedback and you can build relationship, it's a very different experience as a teacher. Retreats, Airbnb experiences, that is so cool. I wonder, every time I've looked up, that's actually epic. So this is the kind of thinking that we're going for, because we as hoopers and hoop teachers, we're not conventional and we're not this traditional style. And also we see in so many businesses and so many communities now around the world that people are thinking outside the circle. And this kind of thing, these other platforms like Airbnb experiences. And if you don't know what Airbnb experiences are, when you go on Airbnb, you can look for homes or you can look for experiences in your city. And I have tried out many experiences around the world, everything from going to see a shaman in the middle of Rio through Airbnb. I know it sounds crazy, but it was amazing. And I would never have expected it. I thought it was going to be a really weird experience, but it was truly incredible. To kayaking, to doing bike tours, so hooping parties. When I was living in Melbourne, I would often get contacted by someone like someone who was coming into town with their family and knew that they wanted an activity to do something in the park in Melbourne. And they would often contact me and say, would you do a private class with 4 of us? My sister loves you, or not even, like sometimes they just Google like what's going on and they might just stumble into my website. So that's really cool. I love that, thinking outside of what you think a traditional class should be. Beautiful. This is a big one. So, but if you go back to your story, you can relate to your story of the problems that hooping has solved for you, and you can pretty much know that there are going to be other people in your community who are also facing those problems. And I know problems can sound quite negative, but it's like, when I ask you, what problem do you solve? When you can match your hooping whatever it is, your class, your workshop, your party, with a problem that someone has that could be a mum saying, I don't know, I don't have a cute idea or a cool idea for my kid's birthday party. Your problem, your solution to that is, I offer the most entertaining and colorful birthday parties. So, or as Angela did, the aged care facilities didn't have anyone coming in and offering new types of workshops, but her solution of seated hoop dance classes met that need or solved that problem. And this is something that you might not solve just one problem, and the problems can change. So it might be like Zumba is not popular, for example, I don't know, in your local gym, or the teacher went away and they're looking for a new style of movement, and you're coming in with your hoop workout classes, and that's solving the problem. Or it could be you're thinking of writing copy on your website, and so you want to kind of give the benefits of hooping. So what problems, I should have written, do you solve? Because when you can match the solution and the problem, then people are like, yes. It makes it very easy for them to make the decision. And for lots of people, I can tell you, for lots of students, they're looking for something new. They're looking for something fun. They're looking for a way to move their body. And I know it to be true that the hoop community and people looking for a way to express themselves in a different way, in a pleasurable way, I know that this is growing because of the stats on my YouTube channel. So I've been doing weekly YouTube tutorials pretty consistently for about 5 or 6 years, but my YouTube channel has been around for a while. And until this year, like, I'd seen pretty steady growth. Like, I'll upload a tutorial because I want to help people every week. But this year and towards the end of last year, I have seen the most outrageous and rapid growth in the number of subscribers and watches and views on that YouTube channel that is only about hooping, that is only my tutorials about hooping. And I'm not doing any advertising. I don't spend any money on it. I'm not doing anything like that. There's no behind the scenes crazy marketing strategy that's going on. Nothing. This is all organic growth. That just means that people are naturally finding me. And I am led to believe that that is because people are looking for ways to express themselves outside of the formal fitness. They're looking for ways that they can move their body, express their femininity or masculinity or creativity or whatever it is. So the hooping, people looking into hooping is skyrocketing, according to those stats. Andrew says fun, movement, and confidence. Confidence is a huge one. I can rattle off a whole bunch of reasons why hooping is such a powerful modality to share. And confidence, courage, for many people, just having the courage to turn up to a class is a huge, huge leap. So as teachers, we're guiding them through that building of confidence. Also, just connection, more and more and more. I mean, we spend so much time, most of us, on the internet creating these connections. And ultimately, humans need that real life face-to-face connections. And hooping classes, hooping workshops, hooping retreats, hooping offerings, they give that. It's all about connection with yourself, with others in the class, with a teacher, with inspiration, with the music, with the hoop, with the biofeedback that's being given, with the wisdom that's inside of your body. Connection. Yes. Okay. So for me, after working with so many or hearing from, actually Amber just said, allowing people to create healthy ways to move emotions and energy. Yes. Yes. And we are, or showing people rather, we are living in a time where many things are on the increase, and not all of those are positive in our community. And for me, I feel like it's a real mission. It's almost like a real duty of care to share what I have been given. It's like I got to a point where, and it actually relates to this, the biggest problem that hoop teachers face, but I got to a point where, and I hope this happens for you too, where I couldn't hold it back. None of the obstacles or the problems that were in the way were strong enough to hold back my need to help people to process and find joy and find healthy ways to express themselves, because that's what I had been given and that's what I had found through hooping. And so when you connect with what you are solving, what your story is, what your special sauce is, what you have to offer, that will become greater than any of the problems or any of the obstacles. So after working with thousands of teachers or hearing, I get so many emails from people considering doing hoop teaching or considering doing my training or thinking about it. And this is what I always hear. And I wish I had a magic wand that could just like erase it all, but not always. The biggest problem that so many hoop teachers face, and we're going to talk about moving through this, is believing that they're not enough. They're not enough to, who am I to show up and teach hooping? Who am I? I'm not this person. I'm not that person. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I can't give enough. And I challenge that so strongly, so deeply, purely because I understand that feeling as well. You are enough. And your special sauce, which we go in, I call it a special sauce because we all have it. Your special sauce that we go into in the very first module of Hoop Love Coach training, and many hoopers come back to time and time and time again because you have lifetime access. Your special sauce is what not only makes you enough, but is going to give you the courage to move forward and share this with as many people as you can. Now, Amber just said that is seriously why I've hesitated for so long before I bought the Hoop Love Coach training. I hear it all the time, daily, in all of my inboxes, not just in terms of Hoop Love Coach training, but I'm not enough. It's almost like I am not enough is the epidemic that is stopping so much from happening. You are enough. Natalie says the same. I'm not enough. This imposter syndrome, this feeling that, I won't be liked, or I haven't quite got the tricks, or maybe the one thing that we all have, this is something that we can't deny, that nobody else has, is you. It's your special sauce. You're never going to teach the same way as me. Like, we can work together, and I've worked for years and years and years with so many teachers, and they've worked on so many different projects, from retreats to holiday programs, to developing their own style of workshop, to touring, to teaching in their backyard, to teaching their mum to hoop, whatever it might be. There's no hierarchy. Nothing is better than the other. It is all sharing what we've been given, what we've been gifted, sharing the benefits of hooping. Just because one person is like touring the world doesn't make them more amazing than someone who is teaching their grandma to hoop in the back garden. They're both very, very powerful transformations and delivery of beauty that is hooping. But your voice, your story, your vision that I so heavily go into in the training, that is what makes you enough. You are already enough. There is nothing that you need to do or need to become to be enough. But, and hold on to that, I have self-doubt every single day. There's not one single thing. I pick up my phone to share something on Instagram, and if you know me on Instagram, I share all the time. It hits me. Self-doubt. Should I share that? Is that kind of cool? What if people think, because it's a repeat pattern of behavior and thinking that happens within all humans, but knowing your why you want to share, that will wipe out all of that, well, most of that. Sometimes I delete stuff if I'm like, that's not my message. knowing your why, understanding your special source, knowing that you are enough will wipe all of that out and allow you to share in your fullest, most authentic way. But there is a side note to this, that hooping, like I said at the beginning, hooping and teaching are two different skill sets. Just like not enough and not good enough are two different things. You are enough. There's nothing that you can possibly do that is not going to make you enough. Good enough in terms of skill as a hooper and a teacher is a journey that you have potentially already started. And if you haven't, then start now. Every single time you pick up your hoop, every single time you practice teaching, every single time you reach out to someone for mentorship or help, you are getting better. That's skill. But being enough in who you are, you can't take that away. You already have it. It's within you. It's your uniqueness that is going to make you stand out. And finding that, uncovering that, discovering that, well, hooping's going to help you. Teaching practice is going to help you. I'm totally putting my hand up to help you. The global hoop community can help you. The others around you, your students, the feedback that they give you will help you to improve. Experience and practice is going to make you better. Being enough, you already got that. So hopefully that's me doing my best. Like, you got this, you can do it. And this is the whole reason why I share Hoop Love Coach training, because I know in the beginning, I was like, I'm going to do all these things, but I'm not really, I don't really know. I don't know where to start. I created this whole thing to, first of all, cheer you on and tell you that you are enough. But in terms of skills and teaching and facilitation, I've been through some major ups and downs with it all. But I hopefully you see me as someone who is experienced and successful and passionate and driven. And I feel like I am all of those things. And so I created the Hoop Love Coach training to share that with you, to be a real open book, and not just with the training. Thank you, Amber. Amber says she's so excited to learn from me. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited to learn from you. And I continue to level my stuff up because I continue to hear from hoop teachers all around the world. So I share the training for the first 12 weeks. But then after that, and in that time, we're in a group together and you get weekly guidance, and I'm there all the time. And you'll probably be sick of my voice because you hear from me all the time. But at the end, then I invite you to a global Hoop Love Coach group. And so that has hundreds and hundreds of active hoop teachers who are always there to support you. So it doesn't just like cut off when you get to the end. So I am going to really quickly run through Hoop Love Coach training. I hope that you enjoyed that piece of what is the biggest problem. Our biggest problem, it's so many times, is that in every little part that we do, we believe that we're not enough. And that's going to hold us back from really sharing and offering, and potentially hold us back from changing other people's lives and changing our own as well. So I'm going to run through. Hoop Love Coach training does start on October 7, which is Monday, and you are most welcome to join me. So I get a ton of questions. I'm going to make it really quick. If you have any questions about Hoop Love Coach training, about teaching at all, like anything, you can start to write them in the chat box. And if I miss them, I'll come back to them. But just very quickly, Hoop Love Coach training is an online training. You can download or stream it 24/7. So if you're traveling, you can take it with you, or you can watch it when you're hanging out at home, when the kids go to bed, whatever your lifestyle is. I've tried to think of everyone. But if you're outside of that, then please let me know so that I can just improve what I'm sharing. You can learn at your own pace, but I guide you through step by step in 12 weeks. Lots of people say, what if I don't finish it? I don't know. What if I don't lock you out. You don't get shut out. There's no like, if you don't finish it in 12 weeks, it's over. It remains open for you. And if you need longer than 12 weeks because of your lifestyle or something changes, life changes, I get it. I've worked with so many people. You just let me know and we can extend that date. So it's a huge library of resources. I worked on this for so long. There's video and there's audio and there's written. It's a one-time payment unless you want to do the payment plan. I'll tell you about that later. Some people want to chop it up into little increments. That works better for their finances. Lifetime access. You do get a certificate of completion and you get community support that I talked about. So Am I going too fast? I just want to whiz through this so that if you have questions about it, but I also want to show you what's inside it if it's something that you're interested in. In module 1, it's all about that special sauce. This is all the stuff that I'm trying to tease out of you to get you to understand that enoughness, that it's already there, and potentially you don't see it just yet, but with all of the parts that we go through in the Setting Up for Success module, it's about learning what it is that you want to offer so that you can better communicate it to your students, to your potential clients, to anywhere that you want to share hooping. Because for some areas we are educating them about hooping. If we just called up and said, hello, my name's Deanne and I would like to do a hoop class, a lot of people are like, what? So we are doing a bit of education, and when we know what it is that we're offering, it's really easy to do it. So I draw that out of you and help you to create like your bios and what it is that is your flavor and what is your special sauce, so you can communicate it really easily. That's marketing. If you really, there's heaps of crazy marketing strategy, but the best marketing is knowing who you are and what you offer and being able to communicate it. Module 2, this is it. Here we go. Tricks, transitions, and technique. There's 100 videos, and each video, it's not, if you're worried that your hooping skill is not good enough, this is the module for you, because there's a checklist and then every trick has its own video, so you can learn that trick with me. But most importantly, I'm teaching you how to teach it. So remember, hooping and teaching are two different skill sets. You might be able to do the trick, but understanding it and then delivering it to someone else is a different pathway. So 100 tricks, and you might know more than 100 tricks. But what you're going to do is take the teaching techniques from all of these tricks and the vocabulary that I share with you, and then you can transfer that to any trick that you're teaching. Module 3 is sequences to support flow. You know that I love flow sessions where we put tricks together, and this helps. There's so many benefits to putting moves together. It helps with memory, it helps with coordination, it helps with stamina, it helps with expression, it helps with diversity, it helps with variations and levels, because every class is going to have different levels and people with different abilities. It helps with creativity and fun and joy and pleasure and potentially performance if that's something that you want to do. It helps you to expand your teaching repertoire. So I'm give you so many flow sessions that I break down and you can share. And there's 2 different styles that I say. There's like dance flow, and then there's fitness, because I know some of you like to do a more fitness focused hoop class, and then some of you like to, I am always kind of trying to combine both. You can't get away from the fitness with hooping, because it's so good for making your body strong and energized. Module 4 is crafting classes, parties, and workshops, and I give you all in video form and in written form class plans, and show you exactly how I break down an 8-week class. So the progression of and this is just one style. If you had students and you wanted to do an 8-week course, what would class 1 look like? Class 2 look like? Class 3 look like? I also give you playlists for each of those classes. I show you what a party plan looks like, and I show you what a workshop could look like. And they're all a little bit different, and you can totally mold all of this into your own. You don't have to do it exactly the same way I do, but I really want to give you very clear examples, and you can take bits from everything and be like, you know what, this is how I would do it, and that's fine. There's not this trademarked way that you have to stick to, but I just want to give you as many different variations as I can so that you can decide for yourself how you want to share and teach. Module 5 is really close to my heart. It's the art of teaching. It's connecting, it's facilitation, it's opening up to your students. It goes beyond tricks and transitions and technique and teaching flow arts, and it's about how we connect with our community, how we connect with our people. I say so many times, and talking with my teacher friend that I've been with this week, when things go not to plan. You can have the best plan and the best playlist and the best ideas, but you can step into a class where the energy of the class is just off or way too high level. This happens a lot with children, and adults are a little bit better at kind of hiding their stuff, or and then your plan, or even you as a teacher, like your plan might not be flowing. And when you have the practice in teaching, which comes just step by step, every time you share with someone, no matter if it's in a formal setting, in the park, whatever it is, you're gaining experience as a facilitator, and you're just improving your skills, you're improving your confidence by courageously sharing each time. You just get better and better. And so when the class plan goes out the window or something happens in your class, you know that you can still be there as a facilitator for your students. And that's such a powerful thing. That's when the real magic happens. And it's such a beautiful part of teaching. And so I share a lot of those stories with you. Module 6, hoops. We need hoops to hoop. This is all about making hoops, selling hoops, pricing hoops, sharing hoops, taping hoops. And then what if you don't want to make hoops? Like, where are you going to source all that stuff from? How are you going to make a class set? And also I've teamed up with Hoopology because they have a hoop making university, and they also offer discounts to Hoop Love Coach, or they offer packages for class sets to Hoop Love coaches. So that's all in module 6. It's a lot. I know I'm rushing through it, but it's a big one. Amber says, yes, I know. And so it can be a real challenge to decide what you want to do, if you want to invest in hoop plastic. So there's a whole bunch of decision making to go through there. Do you want to sell hoops in your classes? Do you want to link up with someone in your community that's a hoop maker, and perhaps they decide to sell their hoops in your class on consignment, or you get a little bit of a kickback? Or so there's so many different ways that you can come at it. You don't have to just like dump a ton of money and have a whole class set. And so it doesn't have to be like that. And things are changing, and there's lots of different ideas that also come up in discussion over the course of the training with other teachers as well. I've seen so many times teachers in, similar areas, or maybe across the country or whatever, will come up with this really brilliant idea and collaborate on things. So there's that potential and opportunity too. Module 7, creating abundance, money and connections. They are the beautiful rewards. There's so many more rewards, but I kind of just channel it into those two headings. And we get a little bit strategic. We talk about how it is that we want to make all these connections or make all this money, and then why we want that, and where we're going to, how we're going to share that out. And it's a really, really valuable thing to be looking at, because you want to be rewarded for your investment. And if you're doing Hoop Love Coach training and you're investing in this expertise that I'm sharing with you, I want you to be paid back for that. I want to see you succeeding. I want students to come to your classes and pay you so that you can be paid back for your investment. I see that for you. And I see that there's opportunity to do that, but it's about being a little bit strategic. It's not about being greedy. It's not about being attached to all of this, financial abundance or anything. It's about the balance, the give and take of energy. Being a hoop teacher requires a lot of your time and energy, and it's joyful and it's incredible and it's beautiful, and you should be rewarded in ways that suit you. Everyone's different. Some people are like, yeah, I want thousands of dollars a week, and some people are like, I want 10 women aged 50 and over in my class. That is my reward. So it's about focusing and directing our energy to what it is that we desire. Good stuff. Okay, module 8 is a big bonus, and I just keep adding to this one because it's all the inspirations and connections that I've made over the years, and I want to be able to share them with you. And as teachers ask more questions, I just add other information in there. So it's a big bonus. It's also stuff that's going to help you out with marketing, lesson plan formats, things that you can download, class cards, like all of the extra things that go to help your life as a hoop teacher be a little bit easier. There is also the Global Hoop Love Coach group, which I invite you to at the end, and that has hundreds of active teachers in it, and there's always discussions about everything. There was a discussion this morning, I believe, about someone who wants to teach online classes now and how they should market that. There's people who are like, oh, I haven't started teaching yet. What should I do? So There's just a whole range of awesome humans from around the world. You might even find some people in your area that you can collaborate with if that's something you're interested in. Okay, talking about money, I get a question about it a lot. The full training one-time payment is 397 Australian dollars. If you're in the US, you are lucky because our Australian dollar is pretty weak. It's converted safely, not by me, in an online conversion when you pay. Or some people prefer to do 2 payments. They just want to break it down. And so you can do 2 payments of 225, or some people like to do 3 payments, which we've added recently. 3 payments of 165. You can ask me any questions about any of this if you like. These are the reasons. This is it. This is where it's at. More than a certificate or more than, adding another course. I want you to do it because I know that you are here to learn, and that you will most certainly, absolutely learn so many new things in this training, and also that you're here to share that. Do it for the support that you're going to get, not just from me, but from all of the other teachers that you are going to build community with. Do it for connection with yourself, with me, with the teachers, with your students, with your community, with people that you cannot even imagine yet. Yes, so good, so beautiful. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. If you are the one holding you back, no more. Find that courage in yourself, because you are enough. You are enough. And I know, I can sense that you believe that deep down. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here listening to this right now, that you are enough, but you need support. You don't have to do it on your own. Whether you do this training or not, that's not what I'm talking about. We need support. And so do this for yourself. Step out of your way and step into the role and the passion and the purpose that you really desire, and be supported to do that. You are supported to do that. For some of you, this will become your career. For some of you, it will be this side thing that you do every now and then. For some of you, it will be a once a week. Do it for the development of that. Do it because it gives you purpose. Is there anything more juicy and amazing and pleasurable than living a life with purpose? And if you're kind of in this part of your life in transition where you're like, I don't really know, I'm not quite sure. Purpose is such a strong flotation device that will help you to feel confident and courageous. Do it for being of service. It's really powerful. Especially, the world needs more beautiful, positive, powerful, empowering service. Do it for growth, for community, for fun, and for passion. Okay. Any questions? I have been blah, blah, blah. I wish I could hear your voice. This little workshop, online workshop, just allows us to write out our chats. But if you would like to ask any questions, or if you would like to know more about the training, you can go to Hoop Love Coach Training. If you want to talk about what I said was the biggest problem, not feeling enough, if that's kind of coming up for you, or not being good enough. Remember, I said those two are quite different. That sense of feeling enough is overcoming our self-doubt, overcoming those times that says, I don't know if I can do this. They might think it's a little weird. Those people might judge me. I don't know if I'll be rewarded or supported. No one will probably turn up to my class. I'm not really sure if hoop teaching is a thing. All of those questions that will swirl around in your head, and please feel free. I'm totally opening up the space here right now. Please feel free if you want to share that you've had those thoughts, or that you've had that feeling of not being enough, or even if you've had it and you have found ways or strategies or support to help you move through it. It's always nice to hear from other people, not just having me being like, yes, you can do it, because I can cheer you on all day long, and I will. But you also need this sense of self-belief. And as I said, I feel that if you are here and if you are listening to this, and if you're even having that idea spark in you time and time again, down inside you, you have that self-belief. And you know that you're going to change lives. You know that you can make a difference because of what you've been given. But it's about clearing away the stuff. Sometimes daily. It's a practice. So let me know. Any questions? Anything? I'll just have some juice. I've been talking for about an hour. I should have been hooping. Has anyone got their hoops close by? I don't have mine close by right now. They're way over there. No questions. You're so beautiful and quiet. Here we go. Amber says, I was doubting about becoming a hoop teacher, but one day I taught my sister a trick and had a session with her, and we brainstormed about my hula hoop coaching box, and I felt amazing. So when I was feeling those feelings of doubt, I thought about the way I felt when I was doing that with her, and I was like, yes, I felt amazing. I'm going to do that. So incredible. How many times, thank you, Amber, for that. How many times have you sat with yourself and you've gone over all the reasons why it won't work, or all the reasons why you're probably not enough, or all the reasons why you don't quite have the answers to everything, or where to start or what to do. And then you stepped into practice teaching, practice communicating, practice hooping, practice like the actual action, not the overthinking, not the mind chatter, but the actual action. And then you've realized either how magnificent you truly are, or how much you do have to learn. And those two things are so exciting. It's not failure when you're like, actually, I don't know how to connect with my students, or I don't know how to make a hula hoop, or I don't know how to teach this trick. That's not failure. That is opening you up to new learning. And that's what life is all about. Opening up to new creative process, to new expression, to new learning. So it's only through the practice that we get that. We don't get that through the overthinking, because your brain will tell you that you're not enough all day long. So I love that. When I stepped into and then you have a memory. You have this memory of like, yeah, I can do it, and I want to do that more, and I want to improve at that. I want to get better. Natalie says, can't wait to start the course. One question about the certification. How does the certification process, like assessment and stuff like that? Okay, so there is no formal assessment anymore for Hoop Love Coach training. And here's why. For certification, or for the end, because people would get to the end of all this training, they'd be soaking up all the learning, they'd be going through all the materials, and there's so much. And they would be like, my camera doesn't work. I can't send you a video. I don't know how to write my bio. I'm getting really stressed out. And they would drop out. And I was like, what's the big challenge here? What's the hurdle to completion? And it was all of that stuff. It was the assessment stuff. So here's what you need to complete for the certificate of completion, is that you need to go through all of the materials, and that's tracked automatically online as you go through and watch and read everything. It's all tracked for you in the online platform, so no stress. And when you get to the end, it says that you're finished and you receive your certification. If, however, you would like to send me things for feedback, that is, if you would like to send me a bio, if you would like to send me a lesson plan, if you would like to send me a video of you teaching for feedback, I am totally open, but it's no longer compulsory or necessary for you to do that to complete the course. I don't want you to drop out because you don't want to do a video, or I don't want you to drop out because you haven't had time to write your bio, because there's a lot of material. And I know by you going through the material that you are absorbing that and learning that. Also, after the Hoop Love Coach training, it doesn't just stop. So I know there's always feedback in the group and people asking questions, and you continuing to grow and learn. And I'm always here, not going anywhere. So does the coursework cover bruising and warnings to students about it? Yeah, I talk about it in the 100 tricks and how to teach it, because there are certain parts of the body. And look, I've seen people get bruised in areas that when I was a new teacher, that I didn't even realize what happened. So I learned a lot about that over the years. But there are certain parts of the body that are more susceptible to bruising. I just have a standard rule because you want to make sure always that your students are happy and healthy and strong and vibrant and able to keep hooping. And I'm always just threading through all of my teaching just for them to take self-responsibility, to make sure if they're feeling any, and sometimes students won't even feel pain to bruise. There are some people that will just bruise, and it's not just older people, but particularly older people. Or there's some people who have particular like blood diseases that they're going to bruise, or I just keep a warning through everything that I do. Not a like, oh my gosh, hooping's so dangerous, but just this warning of self-responsibility of watching and to never hoop on bruises. Just don't. And so we talk a lot about like, variations. And if there's tricks or sessions that you're teaching and you know that it's going to bruise or hurt a particular student, or they've told you that they hurt or they bruise easily, having variations in your class plan so that maybe if they're hooping on the back of their hand, you would get them to like do weaves or things where the hoop doesn't touch that part of their hand. So building in variation, or just having other ideas in the back of your mind if a student does come to you with any kind of injury, not just bruises. If you have students with shoulder injuries, but you thought that you were going to do all of this like side weaving shoulder work, or this kind of over the head work, just having ideas or having those more than 100 tricks in your back pocket so that you can alter your class, like if you have to, like that is really important. Natalie says, you're so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. Well, it is totally my pleasure to share always. I love, love, love what I do. I hope that comes across. I love supporting teachers. I particularly love teaching students of all levels. One thing about the not good enough in terms of like your hooping level, I get that question quite a bit for anyone who's online now or anyone who's watching this as a recording or a playback. Your hooping skill and level will improve with practice. Your teaching skill and level will improve with practice. It doesn't improve with thinking. It doesn't improve with holding back. It doesn't improve with sitting on the couch, sadly. I would love it to. The beautiful thing is that the practice is so wonderful and so life-giving, the practice of teaching and the practice of hooping, that is just going to improve. So if you're sitting back thinking, I'm just not good enough at hooping, there was nothing better for my actual own hooping practice and skill acquisition than teaching. It really motivated me because I wanted to improve for my students. Having said that, when I started teaching, all of my students were well below beginner. So any level that you're at right now is going to be enough or more than enough to teach a beginner level class. And I also take you through what a total beginner level class would be like. Laura says, thank you for all that you do, Deanne. You're such an inspiration. Thank you so, so very much. I'm really happy. This is my purpose. This is my mission. And I think that anytime, whatever you see in me, it's a reflection of you as well. If there's inspiration that you see, that you're being inspired, it's because you're opening up to it. And I'm inspired by you as well. This gives me so much purpose and so much joy to share anything, even if it's just a little glimmer of hope. Even if I make you get up right now and go hoop, or tomorrow morning when you're having a practice or you're having a play, or next week when you're teaching, your mom or your sister in the backyard or whatever it is, and you remember anything, like any little spark of inspiration that I've given you, that gives me huge joy. If you want to work with me more deeply, that gives me equal joy, and I would love that as well. Thank you. Thank you so, so very much. Are there any more questions? If not, I'm going to share this with you anyway. If there's anything that you missed, I'll record it. It takes a little while to record and I'll send it in your inbox. But I'm assuming most of you are probably like, I don't know what time it is around the world, but you're probably heading to bed. Or Marjorie says, yes, she's in France. Wait, I don't even know what time it is there. I'm so grateful that you're awake. And you're impatient to begin the course. Me too. This time of year, I'm like, come on, hurry up. What date is it? We've still got a couple of days before we have to start. I'm really excited to start. Natalie says, will we have online sessions like this one during the course? Sometimes we do. So I have just sent out today to schedule. Oh, it's 7 a.m. in France. Yes, it's 10 p.m. in the US. Money, are you in the? Oh yeah, you're in Los Angeles. Yeah, we have catch-ups, and we also have catch-ups with the global Hoop Love Coach group as well. So it's different to this though. So this is just like me sharing a workshop. When we have our planning meetings or our connection meetings, we're in what's it called? Zoom. So I can actually see your face and we can chat. So it's not just you typing. So they're better than this. Yeah, much better. This is more like a online kind of slideshow workshop that I do. But then once we're in the Hoop Love Coach training course, any online connections that we make, it's a video conference chat, so which is free. It's totally free that I set up and invite you to. Some of you Andrea, it's 1 a.m. Oh my gosh, get to bed. Yes, Money says you're a trooper. It's so true. Wow. Okay. All right. That's dedication. I would have done that too. When I was first hooping and first starting to teach as well, didn't matter. I was living in Tokyo and I was getting a lot of my information either from the US or from Australia. And I would have done, actually, I don't think I slept because I was so excited because I was always thinking about teaching and hooping and having hoop dreams. So I get you. Go to sleep. Go and have sweet dreams. Yes, I'm totally crazy about hooping. And it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. Like we go through these ups and downs. You know, you don't have to be like hooping every single day to be a beautiful facilitator. That's all just this kind of myth. You still have to live your life. But it's just you keep that passion alive. And sometimes you'll be teaching a lot and other times you'll be going through this kind of, it's like school teachers as well. They have holidays and then they boom and so it's okay. We can let go of any of those obstacles or the problems that we face and we can start to move in to our practice, which is joy. So if there's any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to let you all get started with your day or head off to Dreamland. It's been a total pleasure. If you would love to do the Hoop Love Coaching with me, go to hooplovecoaching.com. If you have any other questions, you can email me or connect with me on Instagram or whatever is your preferred way. But thank you. Thank you so much. And I will be in touch soon. Yes, thanks, Laura. Good night, everyone. Thanks again. Thank you. Mwah. Bye. Thank you. Always amazing.